Hey everybody, my name is Dr. Lynndy. Today we're covering the fifth part of our Thrive in 5, which is mindset. So we're going to be covering things like happiness trials, depression trials, positive thinking trials, and meditation trials to see how they boost up the immune system. So first things we're going to talk about stress aspects and happiness. Social isolation is one of the most powerful known psychological risk factors for poor health. But it's not known whether or not it's the isolation or there's a third-party factor that's actually being involved. But basically it's being hypothesized that lonely people might be less likely than others to eat well or maybe to go and see their doctor regularly, which can actually increase potential stress levels. Now, researchers were looking at the benefits of blocking stress, but these researchers that actually wanted to investigate what happens to the body when people actually are happy. So what they did was they took 80 participants and they asked them 14 questions such as, how often in the past week did you feel satisfied or happy? Or how often in life had you had a sense of meaning? And these were questions that were designed to distinguish between two forms of happiness to most psychologists, the hedonistic well-being and the eudaimonic well-being. Hedonistic well-being is going to be characterized by materialistic or bodily pleasures such as eating well or having sex, whereas eudaimonic well-being would be having a deeper satisfaction from activities such as intellectual pursuits, social relationships, or charity work. And researchers were surprised to find that these two types of happiness influence genes differently. The eudaimonic, meaning-based or purpose-based outlook had a favorable gene expression profiles, whereas someone that was the more hedonistic well-being was associated with profiles similar to those people that were facing adversity. And basically, out of everything they're stating is that if people cared about things beyond themselves, community, politics, art, then everyday stresses would probably be of a less concern because it's outside of themselves. There's with regards to the hedonistic viewpoint, there was a secondary research article that kind of has a little bit of conjecture to that. Basically, they're stating that eating and having sex makes us happy via the reward system, but these activities also expose us to more pathogens than usual. Thus, every time we're happy, our body enhances our immune response because it expects higher risk of infection. Now, this was basically done in a paper article that was looking to establish a causal relationship between positive thinking, the reward system, and the immune response of bacterial infections. So basically, it says that you do something pleasurable for your body expects to actually have more bacteria. Interesting. So it helps to boost up the immune system that way. But again, it's not really fully known. They're trying to figure these things out. Looking at depression trials, there was a research article from some Italian and UK researchers that basically stated that depressed elderly people have fewer lymphocytes and T cells, which are the white blood cells critical for fighting diseases. In depression trials, they've also had that they're trying to find a link between negative emotions and lowered immunity. And researchers had studied a part of the brain called the prefrontal cortex, which actually is associated with depression. And they found that the greatest activity in the right prefrontal cortex, when asked to dwell on distressing episodes in their lives, had a markedly lower antibody level after a flu vaccination. Whereas the people, in contrast, that showed exceptional activity into the left prefrontal cortex when recalling happy times, and they developed high antibodies. So basically it says happiness increases antibodies, which actually boosts the immune system. That's always nice to know with depression also. When you're looking at a couple other trials here, there was a study that was establishing that people with a pattern of brain activity that has been associated with positive emotions are also the ones that show the best response towards the flu vaccine. Another random controlled trial where subjects were given the flu shots and their antibody levels were actually measured at 2 weeks, 4 weeks, and at 6 months. And researchers found a clear link between strong activity into the left prefrontal cortex and that large rise in antibodies. But it's not known exactly what's boosting up the immune system at that point. In meditation trials, there was an 8-week study done at UCLA with regards to 50 HIV-positive men that were asked to meditate daily for 30 to 45 minutes. And the research basically showed that the more training sessions the men attended, the higher their CD4 cell counts at the conclusion of the study. Whereas the University of Wisconsin in Madison had actually done a research article on meditation and boosting of the brain and immune system function, where patients were injected with a flu vaccine and were either put into a meditation group or into a control group. And after 8 weeks, the meditation group had showed greater levels of antibodies available to respond to and prevent potential illnesses. So basically it says that meditation trials helps to get the brain more relaxed, helps to boost up the immune system. So of all those sort of things, the last research thing that we're looking at here is that 20 random controlled trials were investigated into, and a review of those trials were being done by these authors. And what they found is that meditation helped to boost up increased number of CD4 cells, which are the immune system's helper cells that are involved in sending signals to other cells, telling them to destroy infections. It's reduced markers of inflammation, high levels of which are often correlated with decreased immune functioning and disease. And it's also increased telomerase activity. And telomerase, as you mentioned from our previous Thrive as Fives, telomerase has been promoting the stability of chromosomes and prevents their deterioration, whereas telomerase deterioration leads towards cancer and premature aging. So again, after all these things, even though we have all these positive effects, we don't really know exactly what's happening on that. So it's been implicated that there's possibly 3 mechanisms that we're looking at. The first mechanism that researchers have said that there's a decreased stress, increased emotional regulation. So it's been confirmed through research that what we think and feel impacts our immune system via chemical messages from the brain. And meditation mechanisms are implicated in decreasing stress, decreasing rumination and contemplation thought, and increasing ability to deal with difficult emotions. The second possibility we're looking at could be the targeted brain and immune system communication. Meditation increases activity in the prefrontal cortex, right ancilla, and the right hippocampus. And these are the areas that are acting as the command center for the immune system's control center. And the last thing, the third mechanism, is going to be activation of the second brain or the hindgut. Now, the microbiota in your body, the bacteria actually has the ability to distinguish between invader and foreign microbes, and those that are actually endogenous, the ones that are actually from your body. And stress tips out that microbial balance, and it causes us to strip away that primal defense of against our infectious diseases, and causes a cascade of reactions that could potentially wreck your central nervous system. So basically, what they're saying out of everything here is that meditation stress reduction helps to maintain healthy gut microbial diversity that is often upset by stress. So it says increase your immune system by boosting up your antibodies by actually meditating. You do those things, get your body working better. How about that? And then so basically, even though that all these mechanisms are not really fully realized, we do know that these things help. So Johns Hopkins Hospital has actually put out some comments stating that positive personality is something that you're born with and not something you can inherently change. But there is things that you can do to take that you can take to improve your generalized outlook, to reduce your risk of cardiovascular diseases or maybe even depression. The first thing is going to be right off the bat, simply smile more. So it says University of Kansas study found that smiling, even fake smiling, was good at reducing heart rate and blood pressures during stressful situations. They found that practice reframing. So instead of stressing about a traffic jam, saying like, hey, my vehicle's paid for. You know, hey, I have some extra minutes here that I can spend to listen to some music or talk radio. Or thirdly, you know what, there's nothing I can do about this traffic jam anyways, and just accept that. The third thing is going to be to build up resiliency. And resiliency is the ability to adapt to stressful situations or negative situations and or losses. And experts recommend these 3 ways of actually boosting up yours. Number 1, maintain good relationships with family and friends. Number 2, accept that change is a part of life. And number 3, take action on problems rather than just hoping that they'll disappear or wait for them to resolve themselves. So even though that we don't know what the mechanisms are, we do know that if you get the brain happy, the body will follow suit. I always say we carry stress around here. Your brain's all stressed out, we're going to follow suit. If your body's relaxed, we're going to follow suit. So again, try to work on the immune system, boost that thing up, get your body functioning better. Again, that quick little recap on our Thrive in 5, you got those things again. Number 1, if you work on sleep, work on diet, work on water, work on exercise, work on mindset, your body's going to do a lot better. If you like the information you heard right here, give us a little thumbs up. Got some family, friends that need to actually work on their mindset also, send this video out to them, help them know why they have to boost that immune system up also. Otherwise, you like the information we talked about, come back next time. We're going to talk about more information that's going to help boost your body up. You try and have yourself a good night. We'll talk to you soon. All right, bye-bye.